2020 Transformations, the international conference will unfold as a landmark event, bringing together architects, urbanists, educators, technologists, and policymakers from across the globe. This conference is more than a series of discussions. It is a platform for bold ideas, critical reflections, and transformative visions that will shape the future of our urban landscape. The months leading up to this momentous event, our webinar series has served as a vital foundation, curating a large range of themes that speak to the complexities and urgencies of our time. Each session has carved out a space for inquiry, dialogue, and thought leadership. Today's webinar again continues this momentum with a powerful theme: disruptive technologies and collaborative processes as a catalyst for the change. This panel discussion brings together an exceptional group of professionals whose work is the intersection of innovation and impact. Our esteemed speakers are Mr. Swaraj Dattagupta, who is also a scientific committee member of Transformations 2025, Architect Sunari Dopte, Professor Arthi Dhaga, Professor Architect Ajay Thombe. This conversation will be moderated by Mr. Sunil Joshi. Before we begin, it is important to acknowledge the vision and leadership behind this Transformations 2025. We extend our deepest thanks to the President of Council of Architecture for initiating and supporting this important platform. We are also grateful to Professor Jayashree Deshpande, Director of COA TRC, winner of this conference, for her unwavering guidance and continued support. And a special word of appreciation to Professor Aparna Surve, co-convener and Dean of Diva Patil School of Architecture, for her tireless efforts and inspiring commitment to making this initiative impactful. And now, with great respect and admiration, I am delighted to introduce our moderator, Mr. Sunil Joshi, who will guide us through the critical perspectives on how technology and collaboration are reshaping our approach to design practice and the pedagogy.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Thank you so much. So I want to give a small introduction about Sunil, with your permission, sir.
Sure, please.
So Mr. Sunil Joshi is the CEO and Executive Director at Digitra Consultancy. He is also the co-founder and board member of the Confederation of Digital Construction Practitioners and Building, Smart India. He brings about 20 years of experience in the AECO industry, and he worked with several firms across USA, Europe, India, and across the world. He serves as a strategic BMI advisor to several construction and infrastructure companies and has been instrumental in re-engineering their business processes to adopt BMI and digitalization-related technologies. So now we are delighted to have you with us, sir. Now I invite you to introduce our distinguished panelists and lead us into the discussion.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate this opportunity. And, to all the attendees of this call, or this webinar, apologies, we couldn't meet last week, but I'm glad we are here and then we are talking transformation. In last 1 week, I think the kind of transformational technological advancements that we have seen, specifically in the way our defense systems have responded, it's simply phenomenal. And, taking a reference from there, I think it's good that let's come back and let's see from an architectural community perspective, and we are talking transformation, how are we talking and where are we really taking this? With this, I'm glad that, we have so thanks for that introduction. Just one correction, I'm not a BMI specialist, although I'm very concerned about my BMI right now these days. It is BIM, so it is building information modeling. But yeah, I talk BMI more these days, probably every one of us. So just that slight correction. So I think...
I'm so sorry for that, yeah.
No problems. So we have a great team today as a part of this discussion. And then, I just wanted to convey that for next 45 minutes, we want to keep this session more interactive. the kind of people that we have on the board today on this particular forum. I think their experience and collectively all of us would like to bring as much as insights as possible with reference to our background and how we deal with technology and transformations in our day-to-day life. I won't take much time, and just to make sure that I don't do the any miss out on anything, I just request. So I'll just give you a brief profile of our panelists today. So we have Swaraj bringing almost close to half a century of experience, 47 years plus years of experience in the space. Then we have Ajay, who represents a very leading design firm which is implementing a lot of BIM-based and technology-based processes in their delivery. Then we have Aarti, who is representing the academia side of it. She's herself an architect and leading initiatives related to transformations in the academia side. And Sonali is the BIM Women of India. So a lot of people know her as driving BIM initiatives within the India and rest of the world. She's also an architect. So I think the best would be just to get this session started. Maybe I'll request all our panelists to just talk about themselves. Very short profile, but then maybe bring out the best of yourself and how do you relate to the transformation aspect. Maybe we can start with
You want me to start, Sunil? I didn't hear.
Yeah, if you can just brief about yourself and your experience,
okay,
just to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
No, nothing you have missed. In fact, it is really correct that it's actually in this profession about half a century. I mean, I passed out in 1974, so you can imagine. But it is all together. We are in this world, and at least I'm happy that still I'm able to go out. With the BIM, I am introduced from last about 15, 20 years, I can say. But as you know, earlier we used to be taking this as a 3D tool or 3D CAD tool, but now it has been understood as a huge potential. So this is what the background is. I don't think I have much to say on this, on the background, but shall I start?
Yeah. Thank you, Swaraj. Swaraj is himself, he's done masters in structures and spent a significant amount of his time with construction firms like L&T. Has been instrumental on implementing them in projects like Nagpur Metro, and we will explore more as we discuss further. Ajay, maybe if you can, brief us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good evening. I'm alumni of Rizvi College of Architecture from Mumbai. It's been 25 years I'm practicing as architect. Last 16 years back, we founded Beyond Design Architects. We specialized in workplace interior, labs, commercial interiors, and architecture. We definitely in Beyond Design, we value thinking that goes beyond aesthetics to fundamental needs of our clients, services, execution processes, and the human impact that work we do. And definitely, we believe to make sustainable design, we definitely need a technology support, and we try to leverage using it. So that's kind of me.
Nice. Thanks for that brief profile, Ajay. Aarti, maybe coming over to you. I know you are representing the academia here, but a very short profile will really help the audience connect with you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Sunil. So just a quick thing about myself. So I have been having almost over 2 decades of experience in the industry and the academic experience. So I have been in academia right from 2007 in varied capacities. And presently, I am a full-time faculty at Balwant Sheth School of Architecture and also associated with several management institutes. My core area of interest lies in project management and sustainable architecture. So that's just a quick thing because Sunil said we cut short in time. So like this, just be announcing this much right now, and we'll see the rest as we move ahead.
Thank you so much. And with this coming to Sonali, maybe Sonali, a very quick profile from your side will also be very helpful for audience to connect with you.
First, I want to say that it's not the BIM lady of India. That's just an internal joke we have. But yes, I'm an architect, though I never designed anything in my life. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but I am a technologist, I think, at heart, and I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm a founder with XLIs. We are a BIM consulting company, and I've been working globally for the past 20 years. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Sonali, for placing the context. I'm sure you would have, understood the kind of profile our panelists are getting here. Before we jump down into the session in terms of, really discussing the transformational aspects and how it is affecting our businesses, challenges, and other stuff. Maybe, since we are together here, and this webinar itself is also a part of our collaboration of CDCP with COA. I would like to invite Swaraj, if you can just, Swaraj, briefly talk about the vision and what you have and why we are here together with Council of Architecture as well.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil. I'd like to pull up my some slides are there. I'll just share that.
You can just start sharing directly, I believe.
I hope so.
Yeah, just replace current share.
Okay. I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, if you can just make it full screen, that will be good.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to convey my personal gratitude to Professor Purohit. CDCP India is grateful to COA in making us involved, for making us involved in this event as in its run-up and its run-up process. Of course, the discussion today would be a little bit away from this architectural domain, core architectural domain, I should say, rather about this right use of information modeling technologies, because that is what we were discussing. That is the disruption we are talking about today, and the management process of digital information and data that's created by the architects and the other ACO community for built environment of the infrastructure asset. Thus, there are two disruptions. It is technology and the process, which are the CDCP India's vision from for the ACO community, infrastructure fraternity to embrace and transcend to facilitate digital environment for the Viksit Bharat 2047. The first disruption, as I said, is a paradigm shift from the CAD-based design to the BIM asset information modeling. Basically, that it is based on the BIM-based design. Technologies are direct design tools for this creative minds to transfer innovative ideas into reality on a digital platform, creating the virtual assets. It's not mere a requirement for the cuboids or the spheres or something. It is an object-based modeling incorporating the various attributes, properties. So depending on the design stage, that is every design stage, depending on that design stage, the LOD, that is level of definitions, combination of the level of details and level of information that is being done. So this is need to be understood, and that is where this perfect use of technologies are going to be, really giving the result. The technologies further generate that information and data further used down to the towards making the built asset. The second, what we are talking about in our vision, you will find that we are talking about the process. The second major disruption is the process of democratizing the data that's generated digitally in that CDE, that is common data environment. Taking this out of the silos, it's like rather more than an automobile in the assembly line, sharing and collaborating the information, matured with the as-built information and taking it to the operation and maintenance and enhance the asset performance and further infrastructure lifecycle management, which is the in line with it, same line with the PLM, that is the product lifecycle management. So here comes the importance of the BIM, open BIM, which we are bringing in from the international, the, the BS International, that is the Building Smart International, who are advocating this. And here we are, this is to create that, to make the data created through the different technologies, different data formats, interoperable for collaboration with the further use of the process laid down in the ISO 19650, which is the uh, international standard for the process, and thus democratizing the technologies. And this is where the open BIM comes in the picture. And we are also providing the training for this certification, provisional certification, and PCERT, presently for the foundation level, whereas the entry level is free, and we are in the process of expanding our existing collaboration, understanding with COA on digital technologies and processes knowledge support to propagate understanding on Open BIM and PCERT program among the architectural college and professionals also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Suraj. That was very brief, and I think audience will have questions in terms of what OpenBIM is, what kind of impact that will have to the architectural community when you are implementing technology. We will address that as we go. We have our panelists here who can answer those questions. If you have any questions on that regard, please put it on the chat box, and we will try to address that. I think Suraj, we will skip the video right now. You're on mute.
Okay, we can go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So just to kind of, Suraj has given that introductions, and as we are jumping onto the topic, I only want to start up with one thing with reference to the change of transformation that we're looking at today. If you really look at the transformation period, generally previously when we used to talk about any initiatives, we generally used to talk about years. Now with AI and advancement, we are essentially talking in months. Those have actually squeezed down to months, and things that we used to take like months is essentially taking hours to complete right now, and it's increasing at a very crazy speed. And when we look at the adoption level that is happening, we are experiencing it today. But essentially, from a technology perspective, AI was first coined in 1956. So it is that old from a concept perspective, but the time it took to kind of come into a commercialized layman version where people can use it, it has taken here where we are now. I'm just going to start up this session with our panelists, but just show you like one slide that probably will give you an idea about the power of transformation. Okay, this is a reference of a video from the entertainment industry. Can you see my screen?
Absolutely. It's coming.
Okay, good. Watch both the clips very carefully. I will just stop here, okay, without talking much about this. But if you really look this, we are talking 1967, specifically a content that was created. And almost about 10 years later, when the same content was created for another series, almost all the script, the logic with reference to the movement of the characters, that was reutilized. And when we are relating this now to our construction industry, architecture industry, you can just replace these things with building components, with different things that we are using to design, and look at the possibility. We are 50 years now probably from this age and looking at how other industry has transformed. The one of the major reason in terms of why we are taking time as an industry is, if you really look at construction industry at the right, we are just above agriculture in terms of our digital adoption. And now, with reference to a huge push of delivery, large global, cost saving that it is promising, we are seeing a big trend of digital adoptions, and people are saying that we want to adopt BIM and digital technologies on our projects because we have huge cost component that is there that we can see, we can save and add to the profits of the projects, or probably do more projects with the same, be more efficient with the limited resources that we have. So this is just to set the context. Let me just stop sharing, come back to our webinar. Yeah, so this was just to set a context, how technology has really evolved. So coming back to our panelist, and let's start first understanding different perspective and come back to like the ground reality with reference to where we are dealing day-to-day businesses. Ajay, I think I would like you to start up probably addressing us, like how are you seeing the typical changes with reference to the client expectation, with reference to the timeline of the projects that you deal with, the quality expectations then and now. What are the things that you really feel that are pushing you as a firm or as an architect to kind of, embrace or exploit technology within the business?
I think that's a $1 million question when it's like looking back is what we need to go in this. I'm privileged to we are the part of era where we have seen a lot of changes right from manuals, pencil drawn drawings to a technology used currently. In 90s, if you see where we had a workplace interior where 10,000 square feet project used to be a talk of the town, and there will be a limited client and consultant used to work on that project to deliver in, say, a design process used to be in 4 months and delivery timeline used to be around 6 months. And, that used to be competitive in those days. When IT era came and the overall workplace interior language changed, where the scale of the projects then started becoming 50,000 to a lakh of square feet. Multiple cities project we as architects started delivering rather than be part of one location. So where communication started becoming very important with the help of phone, email started getting into that other than our digital email processes. And currently, when we are working in this era where we are doing the projects not only in India but abroad, the scale of the projects are like we talk about 1 million square feet to 5 million and on. And in these projects, what remains unchanged is the timeline. Timeline is getting squeezed because end of the day, customer is looking at, okay, how client architect can deliver these projects, lesser timelines, so the profitability of the customer for their project goes high. Also, the quality and the cost is still remain competitive in this world. And definitely looking at this particular aspect, all the design architectural firms have to take a use of technology because we are talking about currently the big term is sustainable designs, cost effective designs, and important parameter is a coordination among the stakeholders because number of stakeholders are also going up high. So technology is definitely coming up in this era. Last 10 years, if you see, the conventional methodology of 2D CAD-based and information flow, which generally create a chaotic environment in design as well as the execution. BIM processes, then the way we are having now these con calls using Teams with a direct contact instead of emails is definitely helping us, having more clear communications. And also it is helping on the site also, at site level also, everybody is using WhatsApp and, direct communication, emails. So yeah, technology is really changing the current scenario, and it's still growing with the help of, latest technologies like AI and other things. It's encouraging for us.
Great. And it's really nice because you just mentioned about Zoom meetings right now. I think we have been in international business, so we are quite familiar with these things for decades. But specifically with some of our Indian projects, I've realized that during the COVID time, some of the client actually used Zoom for the first time. So that's fact. Just be honest, Ajay. We have a big uh, you know argument sometimes that BIM takes long time, BIM takes more time, or BIM reduces time. So I want you to be honest with the audience. Tell me the projects where you're using right now. Does BIM increases your time or it reduces your time?
Oh, very frankly, it reduces the time. So that myth has to go back. If you have a time, allow me to take you through this myths which we.
With the audience in the Q&A round, but I just wanted to have your confession here. So he says that, it reduces time. So if anybody in the audience has any question, doubting his answer, you can please prompt that, and I'm sure Ajay will elaborate, make us understand in terms of how he is achieving that. Okay. Now, thanks Ajay, I think, for putting that context. Arti, coming to you, we have a lot of, people coming from the college as well here. And specifically, we say that we are dealing with two complex things. One is the technology and changing dynamics, and then we also have a very different breed of humans, probably the kind of Gen Z, Gen Alpha. We are dealing with very different kind of people with reference to the personalities. So what challenge do you see as academia? As a teacher right now, when you're driving transformations, just give us a perspective from your side.
Thanks, Sunil. I think it's one of the most relevant questions right now in this age, time, and situation we are in. So, one thing very important is that AI fluency and literacy is a must, whether it is an academician or a student. And challenges are definitely innumerous, but it's time that as academicians we learn to capitalize on these challenges. Students are going to use AI. It's how we try to curate or create the pedagogy content so that they use it more correctly, more easily, and it enhances what they've gained. So, according to me, with AI coming into the picture so largely for the smallest assignment we assign, it's diluting the core competency for which they are expected to work on. So, it's probably diluting their creativity, their critical thinking, their power to assimilate and analyze things. So, according to me, it's very important that we jump into a new era of co-authorship. So, where you can use artificial intelligence systems and the human intelligence and come up with content which is more efficient and effective in the present generation. Okay? And also one more thing, when I say capitalize, maybe the assignments we design or the pedagogy we conduct or the course outlines we create have to be tweaked or curated to suit the present context. So suppose we talk about, like, an example is, like, suppose you talk about flipped classroom methodology, which is basically that you don't teach the content, you ask students to do a back work or a homework where they read up stuff, but your assignments or pedagogy should be such that that collection is taken up as debates, quizzes, like those kind of activities, like hands-on activities, post the accumulation of data from AI. So I think those things will help them to do better. And as academicians, also, I think we'll have to start working smarter because the generation is already smart. So I think maybe those kind of things will help us to handle this AI generation and Gen Z, Gen Alpha. So that's how it is from my end.
So who's smarter, your students or you, in getting the using the AI?
Sorry, I missed that.
You or your students in using AI?
All are using, whether it's me or whether it's the students, they have to use, because if you have to be in time and be with the present scenario, I think it's how well you hook on to AI and make the best out of it.
Okay, we'll ask you some more related questions later.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
To you, Sonali, Ajay spoke about more from a client perspective and how, as an architect, when he's dealing with customers, the challenges and also, how he's responding to that. When it comes to BIM and specifically looking at the industry, different stakeholders, how you specifically see this with design and construction firms in India, like, from an adoption perspective?
I think there is a misconception within the industry right now that any tech adoption is a quick fix. It's a magic wand that's going to solve all our problems. But in reality, it's not that. And there are three different kinds of groups of people. Some are pioneers who've adopted it, who've used it, and are seeing results. So, like Ajay said, in their organization, they've been doing this and they're seeing the results. He's on record, he said that it's faster with this. So, design firms that are adopting technology are seeing that they're spending less time in maybe the production work of generating GFCs or extracting quantities. For contractors, they are seeing that they are able to better plan and better execute projects, avoid a lot of wastages because of this. And then the second set of people is people who want to jump onto this bandwagon because it's just nice to have, it's the cool thing to do. And eventually they hope that this is going to make them look really tech savvy kind of a thing. So these people are the ones that are looking for a quick fix. And I think they don't understand the process. They need to understand that it's not a wand, but it's a handshake. And everybody who's part of the ecosystem needs to adopt change, not drastically, but evolve new processes. And then the third set of people is people who are the naysayers. So they will tout their experience. They'll say, I have been doing this for 25 years. What more can you tell me? I have everything in my head. I don't need technology. It's not going to replace me. So these are the people we just cannot change. They are not ready to accept change. So they will have to perish. And I think we see people in the industry in all these different segments right now. The number of pioneers might be few, but from the adopters, a lot of people are moving up, and definitely naysayers are diminishing. So it's kind of a mix of everything in the industry right now.
I just want to add, being a fellow practitioners here in this area, one is the naysayer, and then we have a lot of people. It's like when we watch a cricket match, we comment on teaching how Dhoni and Sachin should be batting, and similarly, when it comes to technology, also we have this bunch of people probably in the decision-making community sometimes, who take that call, and then sometimes those decisions are very costly decisions. Not taking a decision is also a cost. So yeah, I think some more insights could probably be built up in our subsequent conversations as we kind of talk this evening. I think I'll just get into a little more deeper into probably the subject. And sometimes whenever we talk BIM and we talk technology, we always relate it to maybe 3D models, fancy things, fancy technologies. And then the fear of resistance comes from whether it is for me or it is not for me. But one of the claims I will tell you, Nagpur Metro claims that they claimed about 22% of savings just by implementing a cloud-based document management system, which is in technical language called common data environment. So I would like to request Swaraj, who is himself a expert practitioner. He was a part of that project to kind of give us a little bit of an insight, Swaraj, in terms of what exactly a common data environment is. And if an architect has to deploy this, how easy it is to deploy. Is it very complex? Are there resistance or not? Maybe in a very quick way, if you can address that.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, I'd like to just go back to the answers, whatever Sonali and Ajay was giving. In fact, more than naysayers, they should understand that they are perishing, and they are perishing in the sense it is. I remember in 70s, there used to be a, I mean, the positions against that, this one, the automation. So they understand that these clerical things are going to be abolished and automation is going to come. It is today, it is a part of the life. And today means it is, I think, more than 20 years. It's just, I wanted to add, it is going to be probably another few years, or rather today itself. Without technologies, people, probably architects, engineers, are not working today. Maybe today few are converting from 2D to 3D, are considering this is a 3D modeling platform. But time is not far where they will be understanding the strength of it, and they will be really using that information modeling technologies as a basic design tool. Oh, just, I mean, on your question of Nagpur Metro, but before that, I would like to, because there was a very important project we did in 2007-8 from Larsen and Toubro, which is Mumbai monorail. If you people understand that monorail, which is not having a separate rail on which the rolling stock is moving, it is the beam itself, the concrete beam itself, with a twist and turn. It has to be cast in such a way so that it takes that super elevations and, I mean, vertical curves and all those things. In the process, there will be a twist in the beam. Without the 3D technology, it could not be done. That so happened that this our partners in abroad, they have turned down their this one, and ultimately we and our department has been assigned to this, and we did with this entire geometrical engineering, giving the coordinates of the four corners of the beam, each every meter, so that it can be cast in the earth with that particular profile, and it can be done. This is, I'm telling about 2007-8, where we were using this as a really the 3D CAD tool. But coming back to that, your specific question of Nagpur Metro, it was a really very roller coaster ride. Sonali knows because she was our boss, and I was working with under the XLIs, and so much so that people have, although the entire common data environment, which is having a process of working inside and submitting the 3D model online. So there was a total, I mean, resistance on that, and they have to be really taken online as a submission after they do outside from the 3D to the 2D to the 3D. And Sunil is also a part of it, where he had been also invited to convert certain 2D to 3D. And I remember he was very sarcastically telling, you are wasting entire time, and that's it. It is even today also, it may be the fact. But going forward, at least for coordination and having all the documents on the CDE, that itself give a very big repository for them to fall back on. But at the same time, they have also adopted the asset management, and asset management has become a really good strength today for managing, because that's what I was telling in my presentation, that the more than the building the for the virtual design to the actual the physical infrastructure, it is the asset management which is going to be taking this all information plus the inbuilt as built information, and that will be really helping us to the optimizing the asset performance, not only managing or not only operation maintenance. And that is what is gaining today. And we had to really find it very difficult to implement, but it was with all the, even that review and approval process is also very much streamlined. It will be going to the checker, it will be going to the next approver, and going back to the developer in various stages. That means every stages it has to be, it will be done. So this entire cycle has been understood. We took a lot of classes, but it has taken really our toll to make it through. But now they are telling that there are so much of saving, at least in the project cost. But I think it has not been measured what is that they are really saving in that asset management, because there is no such cost available for them to really compare with. So that may be, as far as that, I mean, back in this thing is concerned, it is at least we take 4 days to locate one information which is required for maybe a 1 hour job or 1 day job. So that's the saving we are expecting about. I mean, you can make it in the percentage form, it is about 80% or so. And that is where the main advantage of the BIM process is really alive.
Thank you, Suraj. And I think you just pointed it very correctly with reference to the time required to access the information, and just drawing that and probably getting it into a more simpler terms with the architects. Imagine you're working for a client, and there has been a project going on for 10 months, and you want to go back to revision 1. You are on revision 10 and check what's happening, what has been updated. If you have all this information in one single place, and your turnaround times is like within 1 or 2 minutes, you can go to any drawings and check and compare, look at what was the decision taken. Now this is where 3D is not involved. This is where you have to talk more on information management. And if, as in practice, all of you architects are here, if you have not done so far, please, after this session, a request would be to go back and just Google on ChatGPT, or just Google up common data environment, and you will get the word CDE. It's simple document management, and please use it for yourself. Okay, thank you, Suraj. And I think let's move on to also now understanding, ultimately it's also about when we implement things in a practice level, it is about the equilibrium of what you get paid for, and how you are balancing the ROI. So sometimes people take decision to invest first, sometimes people take decision to convince the client first. So there is always a tug of war between these two things. Ajay, coming to you, can you just elaborate on some of the specific, like very very specific use cases of BIM in your business, in terms of what were those use cases which you were able to adopt, and how it impacted the overall workflows?
Yeah. Uh, so our BIM implementation happened because the scale of the project was going on, increasing, and the stakeholder in the projects were, increasing, and as the project size start getting up, because the information, we are the source of information, because we are the designer who start with the design process. So finally, the information flow starts with us, and to taking up to people, making everybody understand our about the design used to be a bit challenging. So the best thing is, to explain our design with the help of 3D model. So we adapted a process of BIM process using 3D model, collaborating with all the stakeholders, so everybody can visualize easily, come up with their questions, have proper collaboration among each other. Information used to be very easy to flow across the stakeholders. So that particular things helped us a lot. Projects like our million square feet of project, and in interiors, if we have to deliver in, design process have to finish in 3 months, then it is better to get a visualization done quickly, have a collaboration with the customer, have their comments directly on the model, and update that. So that process definitely, is a key thing. So first is a visualization on our design within the team, and as well as to the customer level, and at a construction stage to my project management level. It helped us as a visualization part. Second one is definitely most important for any customer is a cost. As an architect, client will say it's your baby, how you're explaining the design to us, it's your baby. But when it comes to cost, every customer is sensitive, and BIM model based quantity takeoff which we do, that becoming pretty precise. In standard, so-called in India, is a 10% variation is what we talk about. Today, because of the BIM process, we are coming to maximum 3% variation, not only in architecture, but in MEP segment also. That's why the cost parameter as budgets are becoming pretty, accurate with the help of that. And the most important when it comes to construction stage, where a lot of collaboration, clash detections, these processes are very important, and which is time consuming, as well as if we take some wrong decision, we end up reworking on that. So here, model-based collaboration with all services are modeled in 3D. Everybody is checking that. Contractor is also putting their efforts in shop drawing processes and getting executed on site with that help. So the timeline is coming down, quality is increasing. So construction side also, it's a huge boost. So as an architect, whatever we visualize, And when it comes to on the floor and getting executed, we as an architect also save a lot of time explaining those processes. Team sizes are coming down to explain one thing or collaborating on things. So these are kind of advantages we are getting at across the life cycle of the project.
Great. I think I resonate with you specifically on visualization, where the decision-making time between the client giving a change and he getting the updated renders or visualization to take decisions. I think that turnaround time is very effective from a decision-making perspective. So thanks for adding those perspective, Ajay. Let's move on, Artik. Coming back to you right now, can you just let us know, like, from an initiative perspective, if I'm a student today, what kind of initiative probably the academy is taking, to prepare us for the tech world, probably the kind of practice that is happening right now.
Yeah, thanks, Sunil. So I would like to resonate again at this point when Ajay said that we're of a generation which has seen the drafting boards to the use of AR, VR, wearable glasses, right? So that transition has been humongous. Particularly with respect to architectural academia, we saw a major transit when COVID struck the globe. Okay, so there was a major shift in the way teaching was happening. So online learning environment or education was very new to India when COVID hit us, right? But we as academicians and students had to be very agile in adopting these kind of transitional ways and methods while conducting class and the way the pedagogies were designed. And talking about the technologies which are driving the architectural courses, personally, I'm in the industry presently. So it is taking up things like, say, right from data collection, which is very important for projects, data analysis, data collation, presentation skills, your 2D, 3D drawings, your 3D views, walkthroughs, rendering, all these things become very important. And not only that, it's also the data storage and data documentation, which technology is helping in the academia, which are important things which they need to learn at the formative ages or formative years of their career. So during the curriculum is also designed so that they gradually grow over these things. And talking about few of the initiatives is softwares are generally taught to the students in the college. So the softwares are taught maybe from the second or third semester. It's a 5-year degree course, like most of us know this. So in the first 2 semesters, it's more of hand skill activities, but gradually we start getting into softwares. Now, softwares are taught, they're given a overall perspective of what are the softwares, but it becomes very important that as educators we try to tell them how these taught softwares can be incorporated in the various courses they have. So for example, if it is architectural design, so how the software is taught for 2D 3D visualization, like what Ajay mentioned, those things have to be then incorporated. So the pedagogy has to be such that the software implementation is there. So softwares cannot be taught or should not be taught in silos. So the efforts are there from the educators to teach software, but the incorporation in the courses, whether it is working drawings, whether it is architectural design, whether it's landscape design, whether it's building services, building construction, all these have to start using the softwares into their pedagogy so that the students get an overview of how the entire implementation is there and not just learning. So they lose on this. So that's one initiative which I think most faculty will agree to. And apart from this, I mean, Council of Architecture and AICT are taking a lot of efforts and being proactive. Unfortunately, academicians and students are not aware of such kind of initiatives. So during COVID also, and now also, several initiatives are being taken by both the education bodies, which if there's time, we'll throw more light on that. Yeah, that's what it is. And these are the various initiatives which academia is taking for incorporation of digital tools and techniques.
Thanks for that perspective, Aarti. And just to add on to that, see what would be important also, is to look at what is the frequency. Our phones are getting upgraded every year, sometimes every 6 months. Our software that we are working on from design, every year there is a new upgrade coming in. The technology is changing, the OS is changing, the platforms are changing. So with this dynamism of change, your process of curriculum change. So when was your last curriculum change done? And at what frequency are we updating it? I'm just putting that as a probably a food for thought for your subsequent discussion. Thank you, Arti. Sonali, coming to you, Arti mentioned software. She spoke multiple times about software. And this is again from an industry perspective, whether we are an architectural professional, design team, or a educational institute. It's very important that we are not aligned one vendor, or we are generally vendor neutral. When I say, if we have to write an email, I'm writing an email and not necessarily talking about one particular company. Same thing on the design or any kind of softwares that we are using. Being agnostic is very important. So, with that as a background, can you just explain all our audience what exactly OpenBIM is and how it is important for the community, architectural community, to relate to it and make sure that they have that fundamentals of OpenBIM in place when they are dealing with multiple softwares.
So, one of the challenges which is often quoted with any technology adoption is the inability to move data from one application to another. If we even move data, there's data drops that happen where we lose data. And essentially, this is driven by proprietary softwares who want us to be locked into their system, in their software. But what OpenBIM essentially does is it's a format that lets us move data from one tool to another seamlessly. What we are also seeing is that nowadays, even Ajay mentioned, projects are huge in size. So not just the size, but the teams are also big. And these can be global teams. When you have global teams working on project, um, finding everybody to work on one ecosystem is a big challenge. Everybody needs to have the freedom to work us do that. It gives us the ability to work on any tool we want, but when we are exchanging data, we convert it into an IFC format, and this format lets us move data from one tool to another. Um, what this also does is when we have to integrate from design phase into construction phase, or when we have to move data into an operational phase, we can move it very easily. We are not bound by having to rework data, or the data is useless after one stage. Building Smart International is an organization that has actually addressed this issue of having not being locked into any data challenge. And so OpenBIM is something that they have come up with the concept. And Building Smart India is right now in the process of working on propagating this through different users. We are also working on standards that we can put together, which are very specific to India and help the entire community. It's just OpenBIM gives you a freedom to work on your tool of choice.
I think thanks for placing that well. So OpenBeam, just summing it up, it's all about digital interoperability. As an architect, you should just look back your practice and ask that which are the tools that you have in place. Sometimes, like Sonali mentioned, I will just add up to her instance. You might have a format, and sometimes, you might have saved a particular file in one format, and after 2 years, you just don't have the upgraded version of the software to open that file. Now that's a lock. And when you have a open BIM system, the longevity of your data is safe. You can open that after 20 years, still the file is intact. You don't have to really necessarily migrate it to the newer version of the software. So this is a little complex term. Maybe we can have one more session after this, which is dedicated to open BIM, and we can give you more insights on it. But if you have any quick questions around this, please, feel free to prompt me, and I'll make sure that if we have time left, we'll come to that. I think we are on the last phase of this session today, and we'll just run one quick round of questions from our people, specifically now coming down to implementation and the challenges. We talked about the benefit, we talked about what it is. And Swaraj, you have been dealing with a lot of people talking about policy level initiatives and different things that we have been doing under the banner of CDCP and Building Smart India. Can you be very specific in terms of like what challenges do you see with reference to PCO holders, stakeholders adopting BIM?
Yeah, thank you. Just to one word of, to add to this open BIM, as I said in my presentation, it is democratizing the softwares because you are not bound by using one particular software or one particular family of softwares for making this model from architecture to structure or MEPs to collaborate. You can use any of the software. That's democratizing the I mean, OEMs is very, very important, and that is what is giving freedom to all the users. Coming to the challenges, I see the most challenge today. I do not know. I hear that still people are talking about the technologies as 3D CAD. That means it is not a 3D modeling tool. That education or that understanding has to be there that this is a direct design tool which you can have a make it object based design and put rather more information rather don't talk about anything on this your CAD drawings or plans or elevations and all those things. It is not. It is probably it has to go tomorrow. We don't require to really print out and go and this one. That's of course it is going to come. Second challenge, what I am seeing that is the process, which is now still today, the people are not able to understand that what is the strength and what is the real benefit of this process, where that major ROI is going to come from, because it is the data which is ultimately dominating the things, and the client are going to purchase the data only, and data can be really made available in the process so that you can really make it defined that this is what is the stage it is, this is what is the your container number, etc. And that is how this can be really streamlined, and people have to really work on that. As I said in the earlier my presentation, is that this is like a assembly line wherein everybody has to really contribute to this, or maybe access the data for the previous one, and that mature the data afterwards so that it can go to that build stage, and then further from there it can be also matured. So that is what I see that major this one. Of course, the standard, which is very much important to understand, because today India still have to really work out on the standard, but on the 2000, I think 2018 onward, the ISO has already adopted the ISO 19650 series, which is starting from the definitions and the delivery process, and that your asset management process has been already in place. I think we have a place there to really adopt it, because I think many people are adopting also. But there are something which has to be really done, which is India specific. We have taken a step towards that. Probably I'll not elaborate on that, but it is required to really understand what is that the India annex, which is actually UK annex, they have already built up. What are the container identification number, or maybe you can say it is a drawing number or model number or whatever it is. And then there's your many other things, which is revision number, and that your use code and all those things are required to be defined on the India perspective. So that is how the standard is going to help. And these two together, the process and the standard for the process, if it is built, that is where that we are going to make major ROI, which is as per the McKinsey statement, it is 100%. I don't know, it is going to depend. I believe that it is going to be there, but 80% is depending on this entire process.
No, thanks for that, Suraj, and to all the architectural community. We as CDCP are taking up this initiative. So if any of you is interested, if any of you are interested in being a part of it, the first phase is now already done. But we will definitely consider. You can reach out to us through the concerned designated officer of Council of Architecture, and we will surely see how you can also participate in the digital standard development process, represent architecture side of it. Ajay, very quickly, you spoke about implementing BIM. We are talking about technology. The ground realities are that it does has impact to businesses. Now, from your perspective, can you just quickly say what are the two most critical barriers that you see, which is stopping Indian architects from embracing digital technologies in their practice?
I still see a challenge of awareness about the what is BIM is all about, because still it's a question mark in mind. So a lot of these kind of sessions and use cases to be shown to architects, and so they get aware. So that's a big challenge in terms of right now. Second thing is fear of in your architect's mind, because every architectural firm have set their own processes as a design process, their documentation process, and that's where if we they think if we change, then I'll lose my business, my timeline and everything. There is a fear, and there is a fear of employee losing. They may not adopt that. These are the things. Second one is most important, the cost of technologies. There has to be awareness that technology doesn't really, has to be expensive. There can be a simple, cost-effective technologies can be used, and just implement the BIM process, and still, we can have a faster delivery of the project.
Thank you. Thanks, Ajay. With that, coming to now academia, Aarti, can you just specifically let us know with reference to, you talked about different initiatives that you're taking in your institute, but as a country, we have so many institutes, so many universities. How do we ensure a consistent outcome amongst them? Like, is there something already happening on that front you are aware of, or how do we make sure that there is a consistent outcome with reference to the penetration of digitalization amongst the community?
Yes, so in this, what is happening is all institutions at their own level are teaching or trying to promote use of different digital tools and techniques. So I understand that if the authorities can put a prerequisite requirement for architectural students who are qualifying, that okay, you should know so much before you step into the industry, because this will help their employability also in the future. Because like we understand from whatever all of us are discussing here, that it is very important to be digitally active in the present times. So that is one thing. In fact, Council of Architecture is definitely taking up a lot of initiative. Like I mentioned briefly, I'll tell you, they're conducting faculty development programs to help educators, help different people from practice also to grow in this area of digital world. They are also conducting sessions, introduced modules in the curriculum also. In fact, AICTE has recently on 24th April itself announced that from 26-27 academic year 26-27, they are going to have AI as an integral subject in the engineering colleges. So I'm sure they will reach the architectural colleges very soon. So not only engineering colleges, but also BCA and BBA programs. So these initiatives definitely help us to grow. And also, if we can have like a common repository for the educators, where if you have involved digital tools in your pedagogy, how have you done that? So there is a critical appreciation and understanding of the same. And lastly, if we can have these kind of collaborative discussions, so that both education people who are into the academics and people who are practicing can understand the need of times. So maybe we'll be able to do and create more initiatives and things like that in academia for students.
I think that's really nice to hear, and we as CDCP will be very happy to contribute in any way to kind of bring about this consistency and adoption of digital syllabus, or anything that is related to digitalization in the architectural and engineering curriculum. So thanks for that, Aarti. Sonali, last question to you, and then probably we are end of the session. Specifically. When you look at India right now, we generally has a tendency like उसने लिया क्या? तो if you have to buy a car, किसने लिया है? Who is the person? So there is a lot of referral based confidence system that comes onto the projects, and for some reason there are also good success stories right now. There are also failure stories now. What challenges do you see as on date with reference to scaling up on the total number of projects that can use BIM in India?
So I think the challenge for scaling up, the biggest challenge I think would be the availability of workforce, the skill. If based on what Aarti is saying, the Council of Architecture is working towards educating students. Similarly, AICTE is also putting in place. We will see this. But one of the other challenges that we are seeing is that people who are adopting it want a quick fix. So they want to see results, they want to see benefits overnight, and that will not happen. We have to set a process, we have to give time. I mean, when a child starts walking, doesn't start walking immediately. You take crawling baby steps, then you start walking and running. So the whole process has to be given time. It has to be an involvement of every stakeholder. Until that happen, the scalability will be under question. We are seeing success stories. These are very good stories to hear, but we are not talking about that enough. I think we need to do that more. We talk about challenges more. And for anybody to adopt technology, they need to be very clear of what is the goal that they want to achieve. If you want to do 20 things, be prepared to spend more time. You want to do one thing, get the results, then adopt more, that would be a better approach. So I think there has to be a forum where best practices can be discussed and shared. And all these things collectively will help us address some of the challenges. Definitely, the cost factor of software is a major challenge that we need to address. And using OpenBIM will definitely help address that to some extent.
No, thanks for that, Sonali. And I think it's really uh, good to summarize in a way like how we can address this and scale up at a country level. We will have technology challenges with reference to adoption, and what you said right now is also about sharing and sharing success stories and more important sharing failure stories. It's also important that as a community, as a country, if I have made a mistake in a project and I come openly and confess that to my fellow people, you are able to learn, and as a country we will be able to save our resources and save time so that we can grow more, we can achieve our goals, and produce more. So with this, thank you, Sonali, and all the speakers. We are at the end of the session. Just to sum it up, from an architecture perspective, the digital technology and the associated transformation is going to be a very important part, whether it comes to your educational systems, the curriculums that you have, the kind of outcomes that you're coming from the institutes, industry, the way we are designing today, delivering that today, and we are building it, the projects. So my request to Council of Architecture would be to make sure that we have subsequently more sessions organized, and we will be able to elaborate on some of the deep subjects which are there, right? Open BIM, understanding standards, talking about curriculums, and also talking about specific use cases and address that. So thank you so much with this. Appreciate the time, all panelists, from your busy schedule. And yeah, thank you, Council of Architecture, for organizing this. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sunil and the panelists. So now if there is any questions, you can ask questions. The platform is open for the question and answer session.
Everybody must be very exhausted. Digitally, it is very difficult to hold people for more than an hour. So if there is any more questions in the interest of time, maybe they can also come back, and we'll be happy to address. But if it's all good, then probably we can wrap this up.
Sure.
Before we wrap this up, I generally like the entire CDCP team knows that I like to quote people. So I like to end the entire session with a nice quote. It's from Christian Lange. He is a historian, a political scientist, and a teacher. And he says technology is a useful servant. Technology is a useful servant, but a dangerous master. So it's a red flag that you should use technology and digitalization in the present times, but be very careful, cautious, and sensitive while you're using all of this together. So sorry, Sunil, I just spoke in the middle. I mean, it's out of the league, but I thought I should just end it like this.
Thank you for bringing
Thank you.
Yeah, so before we leave, I would like to say something. So actually this panel discussion, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has taken us through a multiple lenses. If you see extensive discussion on open BIM, architecture, design, education, and beyond, showing us how cross-disciplinary thinking is essentially in navigating today's complex challenges. So now on behalf of COA and DY Patil School of Architecture, a heartfelt thank you to our panelists, Mr. Swaraj Dattagupta, Sonali Dopte, Arti Daga and Ajay Thombe for their thoughtful insights and dynamic exchanges of thought. And to Mr. Sunil Joshi, special thank you for anchoring the conversation so effectively. I would
Thank you.
like to, yeah, I would especially like to acknowledge Mr. Suraj Datta Gupta, whose initiative and vision were instrumental in making this session possible. It was Swaraj sir who first proposed this theme, and it was through his suggestion that we got architect Sonali Dopte, ma'am. So we deeply grateful to ma'am also for curating and bringing together this wonderful panel of experts.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so our sincere thanks to everyone who joined us. Thank you for being part of this important dialogue. Your engagement is what gives these sessions purpose and energy. So before we close, I would like to share the screen. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, so before we go, I want to announce about the next webinar, webinar 11, which is on 21st of May, Wednesday. It's at 6:30 p.m. In Indian Standard Time. The topic is AI plus architecture, the future of practice. The speaker is George Gaida, founder, architect, and ex-figura, researcher at Harvard Graduate School of Design, ARB architect and AI specialist, AI speaker. It is moderated by architect Saurabh Matre, research scientist and alumnus of Harvard Design School. So I request all of you to kindly register for this. The poster will be circulated soon. And one more announcement I have to make, the academic poster competition, as you all know, you can start submitting your posters in the given link. It has been shared through email also. So we request all of you, if you're done with your poster design, you can submit for the competition. And as the dates, conference dates are nearing, I want to disclose the keynote speakers. So we have very renowned Sajay Bhushan from Zaha Hadid firm. We have Olivia Poston from Norman Foster Institution. We have architect Yao Albercu from BIG. We have Dr. Sergio Porta. So these are our 4 keynote speakers, and we have a very long panel of plenary speakers, very renowned architects, renowned engineers. So please do take part in this conference. The dates are June 26, 27, and 28. The fees details and everything for the registration are mentioned below. The conference brochure is also being shared through emails. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All the
Thank
best.
you.